4,000 Essential English Words. Book 5. Pollination. Unit 15. Word list. Accessory. An accessory is a thing that is added to another thing to make it look better.
The store sold colorful accessories like bags, sunglasses, and makeup.
Acquisition. An acquisition is something that a person buys or gets in some way.
Marty was happy with his new acquisition, a very fast bicycle.
Adequate. When something is adequate, it is good enough for something else.
Without adequate notice of the roadblock, they will have to turn around.
Cardboard. Cardboard is a material made out of stiff paper. It is often used to make boxes.
We packed our things into cardboard boxes and moved to our new home.
Dilemma. A dilemma is a difficult situation in which a choice has to be made.
Choosing either the tastier or healthier drink proved to be quite a dilemma.
Elaborate. When something is elaborate, it contains a lot of details.
She gave the teacher an elaborate explanation of her project.
Facilitate. To facilitate something is to make it easier.
To facilitate the meeting, Melissa used a simple computer program.
Fleet. A fleet is a group of ships.
The fleet of ships spent a few days at the dock.
Grid. A grid is a pattern of squares with numbers and letters to find places on a map.
We located our town using the grid.
Import. To import means to bring in a product from another country.
Foods that have been imported are usually more expensive.
Infer. To infer something is to decide it is true based on other information one has.
By the position of the sun in the sky, she inferred that it was noon.
Inflate. To inflate something means to fill it up with air.
I helped him inflate the balloons.
Innate. When something is innate, it is something that one is born with. It is not learned.
He had the innate desire to please his teachers.
Marble. Marble is a type of rock that feels cold and is smooth when cut.
The large house had floors made of marble.
Mast. A mast is a long pole on a ship that holds the sail.
The mast held both sails of the ship upright.
Nausea. Nausea is the feeling of being sick to your stomach.
The doctor said the medicine would help get rid of her nausea.
Naval. When something is naval, it relates to a country's navy or military ships.
The country sent all of its naval forces to protect them.
Pouch. A pouch is a small, flexible bag that is usually made of cloth.
I keep my money in a small pouch.
Saturated. If something is saturated, it is completely wet.
Lee's hair became saturated in the rainstorm.
Update. An update is an act of making something more modern.
I'm doing an update on my personal phone directory.
The big ship. Ernest looked at his fleet of ships. Usually he used them for his firm, which imported marble statues from other countries. But today he was going fishing, and the ship he chose was his favorite. It had an elaborate painting on the side that showed a naval battle. It also had some new updates to its computer system. His favorite ship's latest acquisition was a device with a small grid to show the ship's exact location. This new accessory kept Ernest from getting lost. At daybreak, Ernest happily sailed the temperate waters until he was far from land. Then he saw a small boat in the distance. There was an old man standing next to its mast. He was waving his arms in the air. There was also a boy with his head hanging over the boat's edge. Ernest inferred that the boy was suffering from nausea. Both of their clothes were saturated with seawater. Ernest assumed that they were in trouble. Most people never realized, but Ernest had an innate desire to help people. He began sailing toward them, eager to facilitate their rescue and thus solve their dilemma. As he got closer to the boat, he was shocked by its simplicity. The boat's wood looked no stronger than cardboard, and the equipment was old. Still, there were several large fish in a pouch in the boat. Ernest threw a large package onto the boat. He yelled, "Here, you can inflate this boat to get you back to land." "Get out of here," screamed the old man. Ernest was confused. "Don't you need help?" he asked. "Your ship doesn't seem adequate enough to sail so far away from land." "You've just scared away a huge fish," the boy said. "We waved to let you know you were too close to us." Ernest turned around and headed home. He learned that it's better not to help unless asked to. Otherwise, you might not help anyone at all.